You're not working out today,
everybody out there in the viewing world is anxious to get started. So I want to welcome everybody here to the 78th Annual Meeting of the Savannah Jewish Federation. I want to thank you all again for coming, and especially so we can all celebrate the Federation and the Savannah Jewish community. At this time, I'd like to call on Rabbi Robert Haas to make some introductory Jewish thought.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us all here today. We know we wish you could all be in the same room together, but we're so strong as a community that it's just nice to be able to celebrate together. There's an old adage in Judaism that one person can bench 315 pounds, as I just heard. Another person can bench 315 pounds. Together, that would be 630 pounds. But the truth is, if two people come together, they can bench exponentially what they did individually. And that's what the community here is about. In Judaism, it says it's great to donate money, it's great to help people, but what's better than that? It's to get other people to do it with you. And we've had a federation in this community for a very long time, and it's really stood the test of time. It's standing the test of pandemic as we speak. It's filled with people who through many years have continued to be dedicated to this community and dedicated to bringing all of us together. I know we're all proud to be part of it. We're saddened that we are in this moment of time, but we are so fortunate to be in this moment of time with this wonderful community we have. May God give us the strength to continue to stay a community even when we can't be in the same building at the same time. May God give us the strength to continue to look forward, just as our ancestors here in Savannah did for us. May God give us the strength to be dedicated to our friends, our family, our community. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi. At this time, I'd like to call on Larry Silverman, the president of the Jewish Education Alliance.
Good evening. On behalf of the JEA's Board of Directors, I'm here to report to you tonight that your alliance continues to rise to the challenge of serving our community as we now surpass 18 months of this horrible, deadly global pandemic. But I will tell you that we couldn't do what we've done without the unwavering support the Federation has provided us. As the JEA has been there to meet the needs of the community, you have been there to meet ours. We appreciate the trust you put in us, and we never take that for granted. When I was installed as president of the JEA back in May, right here in this very room, it was my hope that the worst of this pandemic was over. That Delta variant has quickly dashed those hopes. Operating any organization during this health crisis is challenging at best, and at worst, requires a miraculous team effort and a little bit of luck. While we've had a few hits and many near misses, we feel confident in our ability to continue to safely serve those who depend upon us, especially when it comes to caring for their children. I wish I had a crystal ball to gaze into to get a clear picture of what the coming months and even the coming year will look like. Unfortunately, that is not realistic. What is real is the assurance that we will do everything in our power, pivot at every opportunity, and work our hardest to continue to earn the trust that you and the entire community has endowed upon the JEA. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. I now call on Adam Sonder for his report.
So as you can see, I thought that I was going to be framed in the camera here, and obviously it didn't quite work, but it's in honor of COVID that I know we've seen people this past year without shirts on. We've seen them with gym shorts on. We've seen children in the background. We've seen dogs in the background. So it's all been good. But I have, right. But, all right. It's not been an easy ride for the Savannah Jewish Federation these past 18 months. Mandated closures, partial reopenings, workforce shortages, capacity limitations, new operating protocols, contract tracing, masking requirements, and quarantines. A journey that none of us have ever faced before, and never for an extended period of time, certainly, and an unknown duration at this point. But driven to serve community and enrich Jewish life, our Alliance and Federation were amongst the first institutions in Savannah to make that the American Jewish communal landscape to reopen our doors to the public. Just 7 weeks from the initial coronavirus wave and national shutdown, we have remained open for business throughout the roller coaster ride that is COVID-19. We've learned a lot during this time about ourselves, our collective level of resilience, our enduring commitment to address new and emerging needs, and our responsibility to safeguard community health. Through our experience on the ground each day, providing childcare, operating a summer camp, distributing meals to area seniors, and hundreds of virtual programs from throughout the world, we have found our sea legs and strengthened our capacity to deliver critical service in uncertain times. We have continued to bring joy, community, and culture to hundreds of people in new ways. We've hosted parking lot festivals for Hanukkah and Purim. We pivoted to a successful online Savannah Jewish Film Festival. We figured out a way to bring our PJ Library families together. Young Jewish Savannah found new and innovative ways to host their events. And we have successfully kept the community informed through our e-news, various Facebook groups, and the all-new Savannah Jewish Life magazine. Who would have thought that our community would have a magazine that was 48 pages long? I just didn't know there was that much that went on here. At the same time, thanks to the dogged determination and commitment of our campaign chair, Michelle Allen, Women's Campaign Chair, Hillary Kronowitz, Men's Campaign Chairs, Benny and David Eichholz, we raised the essential funds that provided us with the capacity to pay for prescriptions, rental and mortgage assistance, hundreds upon hundreds of food cards, and direct assistance through our social workers. We increased our commitment overseas to the Jewish Agency for Israel and Joint Distribution Committee and Birthright Israel. And we did it in a very challenging year for us all. In fact, our overseas allocation was the highest that we have made in over a decade. We continued our very strong commitment to the JEA. The Alliance has pivoted so many times that our heads are spinning. Without the Federation, without you, without the Federation's extraordinary support, we would be like many other small and medium-sized JCC communities who have closed their doors over the last 10 years, losing an essential part of the fabric of the Jewish community. Our Federation endowment has provided hundreds of thousands of dollars to dozens of local, national, and international nonprofits that make meaningful social education and medical changes in our lives. We're also very proud of our national organization, the Jewish Federations of North America. They have helped guide the JCCs, synagogues, day schools, and other Jewish organizations through the choppy waters that was the CARES Act. When every Jewish organization was trying to figure out how to access support, JFNA was at the forefront with all the information and providing guidance around the country. This past year happened with a team of great colleagues. Jamie Richmond, Sunny Neighborg, Jackie Laban, and Cheryl Lansing provided the leadership for many of the Federation programs and initiatives. With nary a complaint, they exhaustively worked on a myriad of initiatives. No sooner was the legwork done than when we had to scratch the idea and plan and execute all over again in a totally different way. They did it with calm expertise and did it well. We all thank and recognize them and many others for providing the steady leadership that we all needed. I would also be remiss if I didn't recognize our president, Kenneth Sadler, and endowment chairs, Jeff Lasky and Scott McGee. While there were lots of others who have pitched in and attended dozens and dozens of Zoom meetings, these three stand out as essential pieces of what we have accomplished this past year. And we have accomplished a lot in a unique year. You can read about it on the online annual report that was sent out this morning, prepared by Jamie Richmond and Cheryl Lansing. It gives you a better understanding of the enormous effect of what your support does and what it accomplishes in our community and around the world. But that was all this past year. We have plans for the future. Thanks to Task Force Chair Jeff Cole, we have actively been working on a community survey. A link to that anonymous survey will be going out in this week's Community e-News and then in synagogue bulletins. We hope every individual in this community, husband and wife, spouse, significant other, anyone in a Jewish household, takes the 10 short minutes to fill out this survey. While our consultant has already held 36 interviews, 1-hour interviews with key stakeholders in the community, we need everyone's input. It is our hope that this survey and its conclusions and recommendations will be a guidepost for next year and years to come. It will tell us what our community wants and what our community needs. This historic community of 288 years has only thrived and grown by considering successive generations' needs. Please take this opportunity to respond to the survey when you receive it and fill it out. And there's a $500 gift card in a raffle, and there's $100 gift cards just to incentivize you if you didn't need enough to invest in our own community. As we prepare for this upcoming new year and reflect on our contributions, our failings, and our learnings, it is becoming increasingly clear that the Federation has reasserted its leadership by not standing idly by through this pandemic. I am honored and proud to have your support and your confidence in leading this historic community. Chag Sameach, L'Shana Tova. May the new year bring you continued good health. May the new year bring you success and fulfillment. May the new year bring you happiness and contentment. And most of all, may the new year bring us all peace. Thank you.
Okay. The vision of the Savannah Jewish Federation states that through its annual campaign, the Federation is the primary collector and distributor of funds for Jewish causes in Savannah, in Israel, and 56 countries throughout the world. This vision would not be possible without the hard work and dedication of all of you who make the phone calls, set the meetings, and make the campaign ask. Thanks to all of you who helped solicit for the 2021 campaign. Because of your hard work, we were able to raise $1.2 million to make this vision a reality. Thank you goes out to our campaign leadership who spent tireless hours planning the campaign, following up with solicitors and donors, and making it all happen. I'd like to acknowledge our 2021 Men's Campaign Co-Chair, Benjamin and David Eichholz, and our 2021 Women's Campaign Chair, Hillary Kronowitz, and our overall campaign chair, Michelle Allen. Thank you for all that you've done, and thank you for staying for another year. I know that under your leadership, the 2022 campaign will be a great success. Thank you all very much. One of the great honors and privileges of being the president of the Savannah Jewish Federation is to give out our President's Award. These awards are in recognition of service to the Savannah Jewish community and the community at large. This award goes to individuals who have made a difference in our community over the past year. The award represents the flame that is reflected in our Federation logo. In Judaism, the eternal flame, or the Ner Tamid, is the perpetual fire, shall be kept burning on the altar, not to go out. Throughout history, the Ner Tamid has been a source of guidance, of comfort, and inspiration. The Ner Tamid is a reminder to us that we have an endless capacity for kindness and bringing mitzvot into the world. Throughout this past year, these award winners have been the light for others, a source of guidance, comfort, and inspiration, and we honor them today. Stanley and Brenda Rosenberg. From the moment the building had to close last March, these two stepped up to help facilitate our from in-person meals to delivering over 100 meals each week for the last 64 weeks. Each week, Brenda and Stanley made phone calls to see who needed meals, and every Friday helped deliver them throughout Savannah. Over the past 64 weeks, the Savannah Jewish Federation has delivered over 7,000 meals, and that would not have been possible without the dedication, commitment, and caring of Brenda and Stanley. Please come forward to accept your award. Here's your award. I'm going to step away. If you just want to make a quick, brief statement, that would be great.
Kenneth, members of the board, friends and guests. Tim told me I could talk as long as I needed to, but try to keep it under 5 minutes, so I'll do what I can. Brenda and I want to thank you very much for this wonderful President's Award. We thank you for the opportunity for us to give back to our community, for which we have been a part of all of our lives during these past 18 months, as we have received so much from you. We appreciate the recognition of our help during this COVID-19 pandemic. We would not have been able to do it, what we did, without the help of so many individuals. In the beginning, Orly, Jamie, Sonny, and Risha, those who cooked the meals, those who packed them each week, and the other volunteers who made sure the meals were delivered in a timely manner to those in need. Thank you all very much for that help. We made many calls each Monday and delivered quite a few meals each Friday. Now, for the past several weeks, the calls are being made by the front desk, and we are still delivering every Friday, although not nearly as many as had in the beginning. And rest assured, we will continue to do so as long as there is a need. We all know how important this was for the community and probably will be for an unknown amount of time to come. Again, thank you all for this award, and know that we will cherish it forever. We would be remiss if we did not congratulate each of the other recipients who've also been chosen for this President's Award. Thank you, Brenda and Stanley.
Dr. Jay Goldstein. Dr. Jay Goldstein is the Emergency Room Medical Director for Memorial Health. Throughout the past 18 months, Dr. Goldstein has been responsible for the intake of COVID patients during the pandemic. And you can only imagine the hours and hours of work he's put in to help save our community. So Jay, please come forward. If you want to take care.
Didn't have a prepared speech, so I apologize. It probably won't be 5 minutes. So, but I will tell you, it is an honor to be honored. You know, to me, it's just been my work and my life. So to me, I just feel like I'm doing what I love to do and take care of people. If I had a message to give, I would say that I've been doing this for about 23 years. And I have never, ever, ever seen anything what we're experiencing for the past 18 to 20 months. And it's been a very interesting, humbling, and kind of scary experience. And I will tell you, it's been kind of frightening to me how politicized some of the COVID vaccination medications have become. It's been frustrating for us as frontline workers because I've seen some pretty scary sickness and a lot of death, and it's just very difficult to watch. And if there's one message that I could get across to everybody, it is, please do your part, go out and get vaccinated. And if you're not vaccinated at this point, I would humbly ask you to go ahead and get vaccinated, because it is that important and that life-saving of a measure. And I would hope everybody would go about doing that. So that would be the one message I would leave with you guys. But again, thank you very much for the honor, and I really appreciate it.
Our next recipient is Dr. Paul Bradley. He's the Chief Investigator of the Meridian Clinical Research Center. He has been headfirst in COVID vaccine research throughout the pandemic. It was through his trial that the first participants in Moderna vaccine trial were enrolled. We are proud to have a member of the Savannah Jewish community who's made history and saved so many lives. So we honor Dr. Bradley tonight. Dr. Bradley could not be with us, but we will accept this honor on his behalf. Dr. Lawton Davis. Under the guidance and leadership of Dr. Lawton Davis, the Coastal Health District has been on the forefront of the pandemic. With their expertise, Dr. Davis and his team has helped keep our community as safe as possible during these times. Dr. Davis, if you would please come up next.
Well, thank you. And I was told 10 minutes. Is that not correct? Yeah. And I would just like to say to Dr. Goldstein, thank you. He's had the opportunity to take care of our family during this, not with COVID, but with other things. And so thank you. First time I've seen you since then. But I'm honored and humbled to accept your Federation's President's Award on behalf of the entire Chatham County Health Department and Coastal Health District team. It truly has been an interesting 18 to 20 months, as I'm sure you all are aware. I must admit that I feel sort of like a quarterback who's getting the honor of a team victory. Having played and coached, I know there's never been a quarterback that ever won a game by himself. There's always a whole lot of work being done out of the limelight by a whole bunch of teammates. And I just happen to be the one in a very visible position, but without our frontline staff answering phone calls and handling registration, nurses, aides, and pharmacists administering vaccines, which is the part most of the public generally sees, and doing testing, environmental health and emergency preparedness folks handling logistics and supplies. This old guy wouldn't accomplish much at all. Not to mention the numerous staff who've been hopefully temporarily reassigned to assist with our crackerjack epidemiology team, conducting case investigation, contact tracing, and answering untold numbers of questions regarding isolation and quarantine. We also have reassigned staff answering a call center 6 days a week that most people don't know about, covers the entire district. And I would certainly be remiss if I did not mention our communications team, one of whose last names is Silberman, handling numerous media requests, coordinating and distributing accurate messages, maintaining a website, and then tracking what's trending on social media, and sometimes gently, hopefully, trying to correct some misinformation. All that to say that we truly, there truly is a tremendous amount of work going on in the background, usually 7 days a week. We have a great bunch of guys and gals. It really is a nice team. I'm reminded that we should all love mercy, do justice, and walk humbly. And I am proud to be part of this team here and to accept this award on their behalf. Thank you.
That one's better. Okay, next. Let's see what's next. Because I can't see what's next. JEA Children's Department and JEA Preschool Savannah. When the pandemic hit, the JEA Children's Department, along with the JEA Preschool, stepped up not only to keep our children safe, but also gave them a sense of normalcy. I guess I'll take this off. A sense of normalcy throughout a very not normal time. They continue to go with the flow and to follow the ever-changing guidelines without missing a beat. I'd like to ask DJ Horton, Jackie Leban, and Lynette Michael to come up to accept this award on behalf of the JEA Children's Department. And I'd like to ask Jody Sadler and Robin Ranieri to come up and accept this award on behalf of the JEA Preschool Savannah. Say something?
So I was told 0 minutes, so there you go. On behalf of the preschool community, the JA Preschool Savannah community, the children, the teachers, and the administration and our families, we'd like to accept this award from the Savannah Jewish Federation most humbly and thank the Savannah Jewish Federation for their support of the JA and in turn JA Preschool Savannah. So on behalf of Robin and I, Toda Rabah, thank you very much.
Which one of you want? There you go.
Thank you so much. On behalf of the Children's Account Department, we are very happy to accept this award. It was actually a very stressful day on the day that we received the letter in my mailbox stating that we had received it. And that completely changed the entire mood of the JEA Camp and Children's Department. So we appreciate that first and foremost. We couldn't have done it without all of our amazing counselors. It was by no means an easy task, but we did it. And I am happy to have such great teammates along with me to do it. So thank you for this.
Sharon Hughes. Sharon, the face of the JEA, Miss Sharon Hughes. We heard recently that Sharon's going to be retiring. There's some disputed number of years. Someone said 32, some said 34, but actually Sharon is going to retire. So we wanted to take this opportunity, I wanted to take this opportunity to recognize her and thank her for all she's done for me personally, for the JEA, and for our entire Jewish community. She's watched our families, our community grow, and she's cared for each and every one of us. Sharon, please come up and accept this award on behalf of the Savannah Jewish community. You really do get that.
What do I say? I don't know. Look at Jody, and Jody was one of the reasons I changed my career talking to her. But it's been 34 great years. I hate leaving, but I need a break. But I'm not gone because I hope they let me come back in about 6 months. I just need to take a break for a little bit. But I love this community. It's been awesome. They showed me so much love. And this hard, so I'm in it now. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we have one more award. Let's see if I can find it. This is another award. So basically, the next award goes to Adam Solander. He does not know this, but it goes without saying that all we've accomplished has been with your tireless leadership and hard work. Adam spent countless hours over the last 18 months working to make our community safer, financially secure, and it goes on and on and on. So on behalf of the Savannah Jewish Federation, I just want to say a job well done, and please accept this President's Award.
Since I had the podium before, I will only go on for about 6 minutes of my prepared speech. You can see right here. We got about that. Thank you very much. It's very unnecessary. I'm honored to be a part of this community. I've really been a part. There hasn't been a community in my life that has been as warm and as welcoming and accepting of a Northerner in my life, and it just makes me just another notch on the belt. Thank you so much for recognizing it. So thank you.
Okay, at this time, we'll call Edwin Bickup to give the nominating committee report.
Thank you, Kenneth. It was my pleasure as past president to put together a nominating committee, and I want to thank everyone that was on that committee. We have gotten a list of and a slate of board members for this year. Since everybody probably has not read them, I'm going to read them to you. First set is for a 2-year term ending 2023, and that's for 2 years to serve. Lonnie Breslow, Adam Benz, Stuart Halpern, Stephen Hollander, Fran Kaminsky, Ross Kaminsky, Mark Conter, Hilary Kronowitz, Lori Lonson, Ken Miller, Tova Tolman, and Stephen Wagner. Also have board members that have a 2-year term ending in 2022. That's 1 more year. Matthew Allen, Scott Cohen, Michael Dobbs, Adam Eichholz, David Foreman, Jennifer Rich, Lenny Tischberg. Thank you all for serving. And those were the people for this year. All those people have agreed except Scott Cohen to be on the board for the next year. We thank Scott Cohen for his service. We also, as a nominating committee, put together a slate of officers. Those are President Kenneth Sadler, Secretary Treasurer for at least a limited point in time, Scott Samuels. Okay. President-elect Linda Sachs, Vice President David Eichholz, past presidents myself and Alan Ratner. And of course, JA President will be Larry Silverman. We thank y'all all for serving. My next duty, as I've been told, is to install all the officers and members for this year being on the board. Again, I thank you for your service. We could not do it without you. So all the people that I've named as being board members for the next year, please raise your hand. Stand up wherever you are. If it's virtual, stand up, raise your hand, say, I state your name, okay, are formally installed as board members and officers of the Savannah Federation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, this is where I give the 25-minute speech. So what a difference a year makes. This community has come together with strength and compassion. Some of us may have forgotten what it was like back in April 2020, but thanks to the hard work of the staff and many community leaders, we made it through shutdowns, school closures, illnesses, and financial hardships. We've honored some of those people tonight, but many other members of this community have stepped up in big and small ways to help us get through this pandemic. So I thank each and every one of you tonight for your contribution to this community. We are charged with raising, collecting, and distributing funds to advance the welfare of the total Jewish community. The Federation strongly supports Israel and world Jewry. Additionally, the organization strives to preserve the civil, political, economic, and religious rights of Jews everywhere, and to develop an articulate, intelligent, and constructive Jewish community. And we did all that during a pandemic. The Savannah Jewish Federation Annual Campaign is the lifeblood of our community and for the Jewish community worldwide. Each year, we ask you to be part of the campaign, part of the community, part of advancing the welfare of the Jewish community. Each year, you open up your hearts and your pocketbooks. That makes us a better community. I want to thank you for your kindness and for your generosity. As Adam mentioned, this past year, we started to work on a new strategic initiative to engage our community in discussions of our future and our governance. Many of you have already spent time with our consultant, And very soon, we will be sending the entire community a questionnaire about your thoughts that will help guide us over the next few years. Please participate in this survey. We need your support. Thank you to Jeff Cole for chairing this important project. One of the other pressing matters over the last few years has been the rise of anti-Semitism around the world. We have been lucky here in Savannah, but we need to remain engaged and diligent. It has been many years since we've had a functioning CRC, Community Relations Council. Thank you to David Foreman for stepping up and agreeing to serve as the chairman of this newly formed committee. The CRC will serve as a sounding board for our professional staff and will engage with other community organizations to build coalitions in support of our Jewish community. Jewish Family Services has done the quiet work you hardly ever see or hear. But last year, Jewish Family Services, which is a committee of the Savannah Jewish Federation, provided over $180,000 of assistance to the most vulnerable people in our community. Jewish Family Services provides essential services, advocacy, referrals, and direct financial assistance, and is delivered with compassion and respect. These services provided by Jewish Family Service is your work, your good deeds, and for that, I thank you. I also want to thank the entire Federation Board for their services last year, and I also want to thank Linda Sachs for agreeing to serve as president-elect, and I look forward to working with you next year and the 2 years of your presidency. Most people don't get to see what I see as president, but I can truly say that none of this has been possible without the guidance, help, and hard work of both Jamie and Adam. They have dedicated themselves to this community, and for that, I thank you. So as I end my first year as president of the Savannah Jewish Federation, I ask you to please think about how you can advance the welfare of our community so we can develop an articulate Jewish community to promote mutual understanding. Please think about that, and thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to call on Rabbi Hinken for some closing thoughts.
Erev Tov. We meet today just a few days before the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, and the rest of the holiday season, as it is quickly followed by Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Shmini Atzeret, and Simchat Torah, all before the end of September. While we usually think of most of this as a season of celebration, the birth of the new world, Sukkot as Man Simchatenu, the time for our rejoicing, restarting the reading of the Torah, even the real relief at being forgiven on Yom Kippur. It is also, like all Jewish holidays, a season of memory. We recall past events of our people's history while reflecting on our own lives. As Jews, we don't look at the past as finished or completed. We repeat our stories, we celebrate historical events, we remember what happened to us, because we know both that who we are today is because of these events, and that it still has lessons it can teach us about how to live today. There are those who want to criticize us as Jews because we're always stuck in the past, always retelling stories that happened hundreds or thousands of years ago. What they don't understand is that we do that because we learn from it. It teaches us how to live better. Few American Jewish communities can understand that like we in Savannah do. With our long, proud history, we know who and where we came from and how those in the past helped create the present in which we live. As we welcome in this Federation's Board of Directors for the coming year, my prayer for you, Kenneth, and for your board is that you are able to keep this idea in mind as you guide this institution. The past, our Jewish past, Savannah's past, the Savannah Jewish community's past, The Federation's past and your own pasts has so much to teach and to guide you. May you build a future for this community that is deeply rooted in the past, a future in which our children and grandchildren will look back and learn from you how they too can better live their lives. Shana Tova and B'Hatzlacha in the coming year.
I don't know if it's a record. That's a 40-minute meeting. You can't do any better than that. Well, with that, we will adjourn the meeting and thank you all for coming and congratulations to all our